Welcome, Vols fans, to another episode of Tennessee Fan Talk, where the Vols are going bowling.
Yeah, give me a turkey, baby.
Very exciting for this first-year head coach and his, what some would call Island of Misfit Toys. Was that your line there, dude?
That was one of my lines. It sure was.
We want to welcome you in. I'm Brandon Bird, alongside, as always, the Duke.
Yeah, we're here. We're going bowling with maybe a little what's that, midnight bowl where they play some tunes and got the neon lights going on. That was my thing when I was a kid.
We do apologize for the late start. Little technical difficulties and amongst other things, some lateness on my part. Do apologize. We want to start off this week first. Let's jump into the normal. Thanks everyone, of course, for listening to the podcast, watching the video. Definitely not live. We don't see a lot of live, but we do appreciate the listens afterwards. We do drop this out weekly on whatever platform you listen to, wherever you are. We are Tennessee.
Where you are.
So the champions have been crowned per conference.
Yep.
And some changes have been made to college football playoffs.
Yep.
Some people are if you're an Alabama fan, you are saying, yeah, this is where we belong. If you're a Georgia fan, you're thinking, how in the world did we stay number one all year and then get bumped to number 3 there later?
Because we play in the SEC East. That's why. Which, let's be honest, stinks.
Thank you so much, Rad Remington, for joining in with us. We always count on your humor adding into the show. And remember, if you want in, just say I want in.
Hugs, not drugs. Remember, hugs, not drugs.
We'll send you the link. You jump right on in here. It's going to be a entertaining couple 25 minutes or so with the Duke there. And the new background, Duke. Look at him. Look at him.
I turned into an adult, right?
And either the level was lying or there was too much natty ice involved.
I don't know why you say natural ice. I don't drink malt liquor. I drink natural light.
Natural light.
Come on, that's one of the top probably 3 selling beers in America. And no, I think it's more the camera eye. This is a 2012 MacBook Pro, so
it's one of the best that Mac has put out.
I know, I agree. That's why I don't upgrade it.
So instead of there is a little football memorabilia back there, but there's a lot of NASCAR memorabilia, and you've always said you like the NASCAR, and you're not ashamed to admit it.
Nope.
And once you drop some news for the podcast listeners.
So Tennessee sports in general are my second love, and the Atlanta Braves. My first love is NASCAR racing. Has been since I was a child. Lucky enough, I have some friends from college that I'm getting hooked back up with. 2 of my best friends who are actually also NASCAR fans. We'll be starting a podcast at the first of next year. It's called the Grandstand Boys. 3 random dudes talking NASCAR, and we have no connection to the sport at all. Just 3 dudes sitting down talking about how any random would at the bar after the race, before the race, in the campground, how they would talk about racing too. So 2 of us pretty hardcore. One of them more of a casual fan. So we got a lot of different how much they love intensity, how much they watch. Like, I'm into it deep. My buddy Jeff, he's into it pretty deep. My other buddy David, he's more of the casual guy. So we've got it all covered. We're at the and also in the demographic that NASCAR is looking for. So it'll be coming from three dudes that love NASCAR and are just going to shoot the crap, make fun of each other, make fun of the races, things like that. So it should be good coming out first of next year. Still getting all the logistics stuff set up, but first of next year.
And not for child's ears.
Well, as long as mom and daddy says it's okay.
Maybe if you're in the South, um, and mommy and daddy have had a little much to drink
We're
themselves.
not. I mean, we're not going to be cussing every other word, but we're not going to. I mean, we're not going to. I mean, it is what it is. There's going to be no time frame. Some of them might be long, some of them might be short. We're just going to let it go and let it do it like it's going to be very natural. Natural, like natural light. Ah, perfect.
Picked up on that one. In the SEC, of course, Alabama comes out on top 41-24. A very defensive game, right? Other than the second quarter where Alabama gained the 24 points that sealed the deal. And you know that it was a good defensive game, especially with corners and such. When you see both Stetson Bennett and
Bum.
who you've called him a bum
He
throughout
stinks.
this year, but I'm going to hit some stats with you here. And Young both having troubles with the passes, right? So Stetson Bennett 29 for 48,
48
304,
passes. He threw more passes in that one game than he did all year.
340 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That
Mhm.
hurt. Young on the other side, 26 for 44. See, not great.
Well, they couldn't run
420,
the ball. They couldn't run the ball.
421 yards, 3 touchdowns. What hurt Georgia? Cook only having 38 yards. Like you said, can't run the ball,
I
and
mean,
Cook
both defenses
they go to
had.
Cook and they go to Zamir White a lot as well. So them only 38 and 27 yards respectively. That's not good. Robinson for Alabama with 55. Young with 40 himself, who is not a running quarterback. He'll
Nope.
straight tell you, I am not. I am a pro style in the pocket, but he's quick when he needs to get out and get going.
Just like Sam
Several,
Darnold.
several,
That's a joke.
several times he would, come around the back and make someone, just one of the slow defensive linemen, can't keep up with him, and he'd hit it out. It was a very entertaining game to watch. Largest receiver, of course, is Williams, who was out last week for the early targeting offense. And had they not had him this week, it would have been a little different ball game. But 184 yards and 2 touchdowns for Williams. Has he
Fast,
has he
fast.
has he declared yet? Is he going to go? I mean, I know he's got a championship to play for.
I would have to think that he cares about the team and he doesn't want that out there until. I
till
mean, you
till
know what I
afterward.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is our SEC champions, Alabama Roll Tide, doing it
Called
again.
it. Called it.
And you did call it. Matter of fact, you said Alabama, but you only said 21-17. And
Well, I mean, the score I was off, but I was one of the only people that said they were going to win.
I said 38-35, but for Georgia. See, I
Yeah.
had it scoring a little higher, which is what ended up, a little higher of a score.
You got to remember, Stetson Bennett's a bum. 6 out of
He
his 14 career interceptions at that point I saw dropped across the TV yesterday was against Alabama. Alabama is Georgia's daddy, like they're Tennessee's daddy. They're Auburn's. The only daddy they're not is A&M.
the So of course, and Red pops up on here and beat me to it. Michigan having a shot. So Michigan is of course number 2.
Yep. They get to play both SEC schools if they win.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, it's all things considered. If Cincinnati beats Alabama, which let's be honest.
So, interesting story. Okay, 2 things that I want to hit real quick before we get into the Vols and their bowl game is I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Georgia. A lot of Georgia fans going, "Why in the world did we go to number 3?" And this has been, I mean, Twitter's been just nailing with it all over. And then why is Alabama go to number 1? They love their Alabama too much. There's too many Alabama homers out there, and Alabama has played bad, and they've played good. And ESPN made a awesome um, ESPN. ESPN made an awesome statement, and they said that Georgia, looking at this last set of rankings, Georgia had not played anyone better than number 18.
Kentucky.
Okay. And so when they played these other teams, they weren't ranked. They were down in the 20th. So Alabama was the first team that they had played against with, higher quality rankings, where Alabama has played, several others.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing they pointed out is this Alabama-Cincinnati game. What team is going to show up for Alabama? If the team that showed up last night for the SEC championships, if that team shows up, they're going to blow Cincinnati out of the water. If the team that showed up for the Iron Bowl shows up, it's going to be close.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I mean, it doesn't matter which team shows up. I think Alabama beats Cincinnati. Cincinnati has played. Who's their best win? Notre Dame? Is that their best win? I didn't look.
Probably.
Okay, so they're playing a team that doesn't even play in or their best wins against a team that doesn't even play in a conference. Yeah, the only non-conference champ in the nation is Notre Dame because they don't play in one.
Yes, they do. They're in the ACC now.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Look it up.
Football only.
Well,
it happened 2 seasons ago.
Oh, I thought that was just during COVID times. I thought they went back to.
Did they back out into an independent?
I mean, I don't know. I don't watch them, but I mean, the only reason they would do that is to get a better chance of making the Final Four for the championship, and they still don't. No, they're not, because they would have been in the ACC championship game, correct? Because Pittsburgh was Pitt versus Wake Forest.
Speaking of Pitt, when I saw Pitt and playing for, sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at once. Notre Dame is in the ACC. Yes, they are. I'm looking at ACC's website. So.
Okay, I believe you. Is that in football, or is that in just other sports?
The football is the only that's in.
I
think
thought
their basketball program is still independent.
I mean, you can, but the thing about that is that doesn't matter. Your ranking really in basketball. I mean, it helps a little bit with your seeding in the tournament, but other than that, it's not that big a deal.
So, yeah, no, there's more. They're showing soccer and things in it as well. So Pitt, everyone.
I mean, it can only happen to Tennessee, right? The year we play Pitt as one of our out of conference games, 9 times out of 10.
Everyone said, "Oh, Tennessee's done." They lost against Pitt, and then Pitt comes rolling in here. What, number 11 at the end of the season? Is that what they were running?
I think it was like 13 v 14. I think it was Pitt was 13 and Wake was 14, which Wake Forest is kind of like Duke, full of a bunch of nerds. Right. Look what Rad Remington said on the side. He did. He's on the Google machine. I knew their football team wasn't in the ACC.
I'm gonna have to take your word on it, Brad.
It's the Rad and Brad show is what it should be.
It's the Rad and Brad. It seems like I remember the debate and the hatred that allowed them bouncing in and out of conference as they saw fit.
I think the debate came with the COVID, and they did it for that purpose, just so they could, I guess, minimize travel. Maybe, I don't know. But then after the COVID, which is still not over, they just said, we're out. We want to play USC every year. We're out.
And he is he is
And
he is 100% right in football. They're not.
so that means I'm 100% right.
So that means you're 100% right.
Yeah, that's
There you
exactly.
go. That's
We
so
got our
stupid. Why is it Notre Dame gets their way? This is a time when you bring in, uh, and now he's sending me text messages. Now's the time when we bring in Luke and his hatred towards Notre Dame,
I
and
hate
so
Notre
he can
Dame
tell
too.
us.
Well, I think the reason is because they're just so profitable. I mean, they have a TV contract deal with NBC. They show every game, either home
Mhm,
or away, on NBC.
mhm.
I don't think there's any other college team that plays on NBC. Am I right? I don't even know if Army Navy's on NBC anymore. Um, that's one. I would have to suspect this is a joke. They're Catholics, but it's a joke. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Just saying. And they don't play anybody, and they get all this respect, even though they don't play anybody ever. It's just a traditional thing. They bring in a lot of money. Their
They
fan
do
base
bring
is
it.
huge. Their
They
fan
it
base
is.
is huge.
It
There's
is.
there's Notre Dame fans everywhere. It's a lot of people that are Catholic that didn't go to Notre Dame are still Notre
You're
Dame fans.
it's a requirement.
That's like if we had a school of Jesus State, all the Christians would pull for Jesus State outside of the Catholics and the
And the
anyway.
Hispanics, because that they would convert over to
Jesus.
Jesus State.
Yep. Yep.
That's Lord, I apologize for that. That's wrong. Be with the starving pygmies in New Guinea. I love that line.
That's a pretty good line from a man from Nebraska.
From Nebraska, which you pointed out to me on that one too.
Poser. He's a
I,
poser.
I'm telling you, I've been so wrong in the trivia.
I play trivia every Thursday night, La Hacienda, Franklin, Tennessee. Come on
Thought
down
you
if you want to lose.
thought you were moving spots.
Well, we tried. It's just a little too far of a drive. And the trivia juice helps, so we got to watch out on that. If you know what I'm saying by trivia juice.
I do. 13 of the 14 SEC teams are bowling,
Besides
including.
Vanderbilt.
It's okay. That's okay. They hold their own
GPA.
baseball,
It's
and
okay. We got good GPA, is what they
it's
say. It's
okay.
okay.
We
We got a
got
good.
good GPA.
That's exactly right.
And we'll go over the games more in depth as we get to it and pick our deals. Right now, we want to focus on Tennessee landing in the Music City Bowl against Purdue.
That's a home game.
So it is a home game. That place is going to be orange. And hey, how awesome would it be to checker Nissan Stadium?
It's
I mean,
How
you
about we
can't
just
get.
do orange on one side and white on the other? And they give 50% of the seats to
Yeah,
Purdue,
yeah.
which I
Yeah.
actually have somebody in my family that is a graduate of Purdue, aerospace engineer, no big deal. But they're going to lose, probably. I don't know. I didn't watch a single one of their games, but it's Big Ten, and the Big Ten is one of the most boring things to watch.
So their couple losses here came to big schools, right? So their first loss comes to Notre Dame,
Yep.
their second to Minnesota, their
Meh.
third to Wisconsin, and
Meh.
their fourth to Ohio State.
But
You
they
know,
did beat Iowa, and they
mhm,
did beat Michigan State,
and
which that's two big wins.
that's a
And when
big
they beat
one.
Iowa, Iowa's number 2 in the nation. When
Yes,
they beat Michigan State, they were number 3 in the nation. Now they've both
yes,
fallen from then, but still, yeah, that's
yes.
still big wins.
And they beat Nebraska, which would have meant something in the late '90s.
Nebraska, what I've been seeing on Twitter, they're the best 3-9 team in the history. I don't think they lost a single game by more than 7 points per game.
Wow.
I look it up. I think that's what it is. It's a stupid low number, but also they also play in the Big Ten, which they don't score more than about 6 per team.
So
And a couple.
second in the Big Ten West is where they ended up 8-4, and of
Yep.
course Tennessee 7-5, third in the SEC
With the
East
hardest schedule in the nation.
with one of the hardest schedules in the nation.
I think it was the hardest.
I could see bits and pieces of it. And when you look at it now, like we said earlier, what everyone said, oh God, you lost to Pitt. Throw them in there now as yeah. I mean, come on, even their uh, easy startup game was a hard game to a highly ranked opponent.
I mean,
What
one of
hurt?
the
What? Ranked up higher than a lot of where the SEC is at. I think we ended up with what 5 ranked at the end of the year, but they're down towards the bottom.
yeah.
2 up top, 1 in the middle. I think
Ole
Ole
Miss is
Miss is
first.
8th. I think Ole Miss was 8th.
And who else is ranked? A
I
and
know
M maybe.
A&M. They're down at
Kentucky.
the
Kentucky.
bottom. Kentucky's 22 down at the bottom, along with Arkansas down there at the bottom.
Yep. The West prevails again.
Yes.
Maybe everybody likes the Central Time Zone. I don't know. Oh yeah.
And next week we will. I promised it for this week, but we're going to do it next week because I want to get a couple people on the show. So we're going to reach out to a couple people, have a little trivia. I know that's your thing, so we're going to have a little trivia.
Well, it
I
depends
can't
on
tell you
if it's random knowledge. That's my trivia.
it. I may have to throw some random knowledge questions in there.
Okay.
What foot did Cinderella lose the slipper off of? That type of crap.
I mean, that's 50-50 chance, so I'm not sure, but I'm going right. I'm going.
You're never going left.
Well, I'm left-handed, but no, you always, right.
Oh, we won't get into that one. Hit us up with a couple of the. I cut you off earlier because I started in the Purdue. Hit us up with a couple of their stats of how they have done this year.
Well, so they averaged 27.5 points a game. Total points 330 for the year. Let's look here. Passing yards, they average 7.5 yards per attempt. Their net passing yards per game is 340. Nothing crazy considering that Tennessee averages. Let's see here. I got it here. I don't remember off the top of my head, but ESPN will tell me they average 38.8 points per game. So they score about 10 more points per game than Purdue. Purdue's plays in the Big Ten where defense is big.
All in the first quarter for Tennessee.
Hey, whatever it takes, right? I'd rather coast to a win than have to come from behind.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, am I going to give my pick now, or do you want to wait towards the end?
Yeah, no. We'll do picks as we get closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I got then.
So a average Big Ten team.
I mean, it's pretty close. I mean, I think it'll be a pretty good game.
I think it'll be a good game.
I mean, I'm hoping for a blowout. I'm sure they haven't played anyone with an offense like us. I mean, I haven't looked. I mean, I don't know which a lot of these teams run, what kind of offense they run, but it's probably pretty conventional with us being exotic. I like to use that word, exotic, kind of like a Ferrari. We go fast.
As bad as when they beat number 3 Michigan State and they beat number 2. I mean, these were big wins, and when I say like they didn't beat them by a field goal. These were big wins.
True.
40-29 against number 3, and 24-7 against Iowa when they were number 2.
Mm-hmm.
These are big wins.
That's a big win. It's big wins. I agree. But the real question is Tennessee going to wear the black jersey with orange breeches? We can only hope.
Oh man, I hope they go black. I hope they black out there.
No, I'm saying black jersey, or orange breeches, white helmet.
Okay, we'll swap it over.
Give me that.
Swap it over.
Yep. Or orange jersey with black breeches. Give me that.
Yep. There you go. Orange jersey, black bottoms. There it is.
Look like Oklahoma State.
Let us and some matte white helmets.
No, I like them speckled black helmets with the black outline. Give me the black outline numbers on the white unis like we used to roll back in the mid-90s. With the black name, like the name on the back would be in black as well. Give me those jerseys back.
There you go. Bring them back.
Give me the Holloway jerseys with the colored shoulders.
So they I don't know if you saw the images of the work that has already started on Neyland Stadium.
I have not, but I've heard through the grapevine they're going to be putting up another jumbotron
They
on
are.
what's at the south end that doesn't have it. I can't remember which end it is.
Danny White put it on Twitter today. Said someone asked for it. Said it's coming soon. So hopefully it'll be there for this one. They've also requested him put up webcams so people can see
I saw
things
that.
that's going on. That's pretty cool. They took an excavator and took out a section of bleachers. And the
Oh,
funny thing
great.
is, people's going, "What's that hole?" And there's an access door down there. And if you look back at the history, I think it was when they did the 30 for 30 Johnny Majors or something like that I
Mhm.
saw it on. There used to be classrooms and
Yeah,
other
yeah.
rooms
You can still
deep,
see
deep
where it used to
underneath
be.
there that are abandoned and they
Mhm.
don't use. But that's what you're seeing, doors into those things. Plus, they had to have access for electrical and things underneath the bleachers anyway.
Yeah. Are they still going to keep Gate 21 up?
Don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
They're
The
not the
big
main one.
that's the big long gate that goes up to the second.
Oh, I have no clue.
Yep. I think that's Gate 21. I can't remember. It's either 20. I can't remember. It's 12 or 20, but it's the big long one that they run hills on.
In swapping over, we got just a few minutes left. I want to say what up to the Lady Vols, 8-0 overall.
Getting back to the good old days.
Tearing it up. Pat Summit would be so proud. They are number 11.
Is there any other SEC schools in front of them? Kentucky, USC, some other traditional women's powerhouses from the SEC. I'm trying to think if is there any other. Not Florida, not Alabama, not Auburn, not maybe Arkansas.
South Carolina's 9-0, so I would say
Yeah,
that they're probably above them.
yeah. Well, South Carolina's been good for a long time. Notre Dame's normally pretty good in women's basketball. Duke.
And even inside the SEC standings, they're putting Georgia as number 1. And they're 7-1, which makes no sense to me.
They might have
Maybe
got beat by probably UConn or somebody like that. I mean, I don't know, but
a big team.
kind of like we got beat by Villanova on the men's side.
In the men's basketballs, 6-1. Of course, they took care of business yesterday. Chandler with 29 points, but overall against Colorado, not looking great.
I don't think that looks bad. A win's a win, man. Basketball's long. I mean, you're not expected to go undefeated. A couple losses. I mean,
You're
10
not
losses
expected to
is
go
not going to hurt.
undefeated, but I was expecting at least 80 points and
Hey, man, a win's a win. I don't
barely
care.
roll into the 60s.
I don't care.
Yeah, that with their just one loss, there's quite a few teams there that are 6-1. Quite a few of them that are 7-1. LSU is still undefeated, 8-0. Arkansas 8-0. As we say, with the interesting part of the season coming up in about 2 weeks.
I would say Shaq's pretty happy about that with LSU.
And I would say so too.
Ben Simmons, maybe he only played there 1 year,
and
but
he's funny when he's happy.
yeah, he's funny all the time. He's a funny looking dude. My man's 7'1".
He is quite hilarious.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we'll get into more basketball.
Are you going to tell him that we might be getting some media passes? We might.
Oh,
Is that a secret that I shouldn't have brought out?
He done let the cat out of the bag. Hopefully, your boy's right here. Hopefully, that guy right there and this guy right here. Could you imagine
if I ask Hendon Hooker if they call him Hendon Lady of the Night? Could you imagine if I hit him with that question?
Ask him if he's in the quarterbacks club of pretty women.
Who's his pimp?
Josh Heupel. Yeah, so hopefully, guys, we get a little media passes from the Music City Bowl. Cross your fingers. If you know anyone that's got any pool, hook us up.
I'm not going to ask that question. That was a joke, by the way. It's a joke. I would never ask a question like that.
Yeah, right.
I swear.
Guys, we want to thank you.
If we get the passes, I promise I'll show up dressed as Derek Dooley with orange pants. I promise.
Need to get a third one and have that 90s fan guy come with us.
And somebody videotape.
I want to thank you for joining us today. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell for the notifications. If you're watching it on YouTube there, if you're watching Facebook, Twitter, Make sure to like, share, wherever you are, we are, and we are Tennessee Fan Talk, TN Fan Talk. We thank you so much for joining in and listening to us. Thank you for making the podcast as successful as we can ever imagine.
Yeah, two
Uh,
bums talking Tennessee football. Could you imagine?
for such a young show, we do appreciate it. And
A young show of two guys that really don't know anything. We're just flying by the seat of our pants. Google
that's
knows
right.
everything.
Google knows it all. We just try to bring a little bit of comedy to it and other things.
Charisma. That's what we're doing for charisma.
There we go.
Go Vols.